For me, I find it's always worthwhile taking a bit of time with getting things packed up and sorted for heading out for a sail, because if I rushed it and I forgot the rudder, it would be a bit of a disaster. But also, I need to spend a moment to sit down and let Max know what's going on. He's always keen to go out in the boat, but alas, dogs are not allowed out on the lakes because they're part of the national park. So I have to make sure I promise him that there will be other wonderful adventures to come. It's been about 6 months since Tilly went afloat for the first time, and we've been out and about in all sorts of conditions and just sailing on our local cruising ground, which are the Fiordland Lakes down the bottom of the South Island of Aotearoa, New Zealand. And this landscape around the lakes is very mountainous, and the lakes have their own particular local weather patterns. If we find ourselves out in a perfect sailing breeze, the odds are that it's on its way to being something else. And on this occasion, it evolved into a flat calm. Conditions can change quickly, and to borrow a quote from Forrest Gump, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But here we are in a favourite spot called Broad Bay, a little way up the lake, and the recent high water has brought all sorts of debris way up into the forest. But it's a lovely spot to stop and enjoy some peanut butter and marmalade sandwiches and a cup of tea. Sometime later now, and Tilly and I are heading out again, leaving the harbour and heading out once again into a calm lake with just enough of a light southerly to give us steerage way. And this is Ken, who's also just headed out in his very smart Nolex 22. There's one thing that I really love about a traditional clinker-built boat, and that's the beautiful chuckling sound they make when they're cruising along in light conditions. And then, quite suddenly, the wind changed and swung around to the north and started to build, and pretty soon we were having a fantastic sail beating up towards the north end of the lake. It wasn't long before Tilly started to feel a bit overpressed, and it was looking pretty black looking up towards the head of the lake, and so I decided to go about and pull in a couple of reefs. Bearing away to head on down the lake, downwind. Tilly seemed to make amazing progress. I don't have anything on the boat to tell me what the boat speed is, but we seem to be getting along really nicely. It wasn't long before we started to make our way around the corner into Dock Bay at the southern end of the lake, which is always guaranteed to be a calmer spot with a northerly breeze. At this point I was toying with the idea of maybe shaking out a reef, but once out back in the main part of the lake, a couple of fairly vigorous gusts persuaded me this was probably not a good idea. Having sailed Tilly now for about 6 months or so, I have to say I'm just so impressed by Francois Vivier's design of the Ilur dinghy. She's just really quite an amazing boat, very stable and just a joy to sail. Sails very nicely in light winds and also in a good breeze as well, and certainly handles the short chop that we got here at the moment on the lake very well. The boat's really quick to set up and launch, and I really love the balanced lug sail. It's the first boat I've had with a lug sail, and it's just great. I love the simplicity of it, and it's a nice big sail as well, and the boat gets along really nicely in light airs.